Hello, thank you for checking out my channel. And if you're a subscriber that's returned, I think you're awesome. I'm John Stark from MacTheMovieGuy.com, and it's spooky season. This one definitely qualifies. This is Hellraiser. Oh, I had fun with that. I'm a blind film critic. I'm just going to be 100% honest and say I would not have seen this film otherwise. I've never seen a Hellraiser film until now because none of them have audio description that I've found. I was totally willing to go back through and watch an original so that I could, understand the franchise. But sadly, they don't have audio description apparently, even though Amazon keeps reminding me. It's right there. Every time I log on to Prime Video, Hellraiser's in my top 5 suggestions. It's watch it! I'm put audio description on it, bitch. Seriously, I can't. What is the point? What's the point of watching a horror movie? You can't. There's no audio description. I would have no idea what was going on. It would just be lots of screaming. It's just I'd be oh, I guess that character died. I don't know. So this one, there's been a lot of internet talk, which I never see, but we hear that there's internet talk. I've seen no one give a shit about this. I think it's fake. About there being a female Pinhead. I think they're somewhere in a chat room somewhere. There was one guy who was ugh, I can't believe it's woke and they made her a female. Ugh. Yeah, she's also in the movie, I don't know, not much. I mean, sometimes she's just in the movie because she stands there. But she's very much not the lead of the film. I don't know if anybody's ever seen a Hellraiser movie. That's probably, I'm getting that's the vibe of a Hellraiser movie, is that Pinhead is sort of the boss fight. and it really is not, it's not like Michael Myers or Jason where you have to see them the whole film, Pinhead is just kind of towards the end of the film. I don't know if that's really a spoiler. We'll talk about the film. But yeah, so if you're deeply offended, first of all, and the other thing is, while I'm talking about, I guess I'll just go ahead and go into some things before I even talk about what the fuck this thing is about. But yeah, they use distortion on her voice, so to a blind audience, you might know that she's a female. Half the time I couldn't understand her dialogue. Because her voice was so oddly distorted into this. And I was what is she saying? She sounds like she's filtered 1,000 times through some sort of really metallic echoing. And then other times when they really want to make sure that you understand what she's saying, they drop it. They know that that at certain scenes in the film that she's unintelligible, and then in other scenes they're they completely drop it, and it's she's almost talking to you just plainly, when she tells somebody what their gift is, it's very easy to understand her. But in some other scenes when she's talking, it sounds like an echo is just coming from everywhere. It's so weird. So it adds a different quality to her voice, played by Jamie Clayton, who apparently was in Sense8. That was the credit that I was oh, I watched one episode of that. Yeah, I don't know, she's fine. It's really hard to screw up this role. I don't know. Visually, maybe she's goofing off in the background or something. I don't know, but I think it's really hard to screw up this role. This role just does not have a whole lot of depth to it. All you have to do is just kind of be enticingly menacing. and I think she pulled it off. But this film, let me just say, I usually like to talk about audio description at the end, but we're going to talk about it up front. Holy shit. This film's audio description right now, I would like to say, next year when we come around to those American Council of the Blind Audio Description Awards, we're nominating this. We're putting this in the nominating committee because this is the best horror description ever. I have yet to watch a horror film that's actually gone this much into detail with the gore. It's amazing. It's James Michael Redmond is the narrator on this, and his narration is so important because this film is disgustingly gory. The Xenobites in this film are, I would have turned it off. I would have been like, no, just because of them. It's not actually that scary of a film, but every time somebody came up with like a new Xenobite, like concept art, it's just like, oh my God. And I'm listening to these descriptions and I'm like, what? It looks like what? Holy, there's like there's things that are like missing a jaw, and there's like one that's got like skin pulled over its entire face. They're really gnarly, tortured things. They're like missing chunks of skin. They've got like holes, like openings. It's really freaky and disturbing. I'm sure the creature feature team on this that did practical effects, at least on the makeup, because I'm sure this is makeup. I don't think there's CGI Xenobites walking around. I'm sure they had fun. More fun than probably they've had to film in a while. They were like, yeah, we get to make this. This is awesome. So yeah, and I had to say that. I had to say the audio description, phenomenal. A plus audio description. Plus, you know how I feel. I have this thing about James Michael Redmond being on horror films. It's just so right. His voice is so right for it. So this was perfect to have him on this film. Just perfection. He just really just takes it to another level. His voice is so creepy when he wants it to be. Anyway, is the film good? What is this film about? No, and I sort of, I guess, I don't know. It's complicated to say what this film's about, because I will also say there was sort of like an unexpected third act twist. Actually, there's sort of an unexpected second act twist. So talking too much about the film is when there are actually like these little like plot twists thrown in there, and you're like, oh, okay, all right, I see what you're doing. So that kind of made it more interesting. I did enjoy the fact that it wasn't just like flat out like gore for the sake of gore, like, oh, we're gonna do this and now you're gonna die. I guess the safest way to describe the plot is two people steal an ancient relic that turns out to be this puzzle that summons the Xeno folk. I don't know, because I don't know if like Pinhead is also the same thing, or I believe she's called the priest. So something's like all of them, but so Xeno folk is what I'm gonna go with. And they start, the main girl in this starts playing around with the puzzle, and she's, I guess, really good with puzzles. She also has like an addiction problem, and she 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 goes and tries to stay with her brother, and her brother is has a partner, and she gets kind of kicked out, and then she's out there, she's like playing with this cube. So she becomes the lead of the film because this cube, as you see like in the opening sequence, this film starts off right away. This film, even though it's 2 hours, it's going the whole time, by the way. Runtime is not a problem for this film because it never stops. It's only a problem for you if you're just getting exhausted of of gore. But this film doesn't actually slow down. It just keeps going. And it stabs people. And when it stabs you, pretty much you're done at that point. It's like you've been targeted for death. If you mess with the puzzle and your hand is in the wrong place when that blade comes out, you are done. Dunzo. And then as the film plays out, people get stabbed, and they end up trying to like unravel this mystery, and they get darker and deeper into what the box does, and like the 6 levels and what you get at the end. And there's a story about the person who had the box before them, and it's actually kind of good. I haven't seen the other Hellraisers, so I can't tell you if this is a full-on remake or reboot, but it feels like it. It feels like this isn't a sequel. This is not like Hellraiser 8. This feels like they're teaching you what Hellraiser is, and not assuming that you already know what it is. So sequels tend to lean on the fact that you know what this is. Remakes and reboots tend to have to do a lot of explaining. So this film has like a scene where they find these old scriptures, and they're like reading off the 6 levels and like what they have to do and what each translation on the cube means, all that kind of stuff. So they wouldn't put that in a sequel. It's so unnecessary. So yeah, that's what it is. So my thoughts on that is, the lead is fairly unlikable for most of the film. She's kind of just sort of an aggressive, just loner type. She's still an addict. So the fact that she's battling addiction doesn't make her the most redemption-worthy character in the world. So for you to root for her the whole film, it's weird because actually, like, at the end of the film, some of the least likable characters are still alive, and you're like, how did this happen? And that's sort of, like, without talking about the spoilers at all, some of the problems that I have with the film, just the couple times it veers away slightly from what appear to be the rules of Hellraiser. There's a scene where she's just played with the puzzle because she's been kicked out of the house by the brother, and she opened it and then passed out, but she didn't get stabbed. Nobody got stabbed. She just advanced the next level, whatever. And the brother has like a nightmare related to the cube, but the brother hasn't even like touched the cube. He just has a nightmare because of his like proximity to the character holding the cube. Like, relationship, I don't know. It was stupid. That was one of the few things where I was like, that's fucking stupid. Because it doesn't make any sense, and it doesn't make sense within the confines of the rules. Like, even after the film, when I like fully embraced all of the rules of Hellraiser, I went back and I was still like, he shouldn't have had that nightmare. Like, he wasn't connected to the cube at all. He had never played with it. He, he didn't. I don't even think he saw it. Like, I don't think, I mean, she wasn't in his apartment for very long before he kicked her out. So, I, I don't understand. But he like clearly wakes up and he like grabs his stomach because he has a nightmare, and he's like, oh, and he's like checking to make sure he didn't just like get gutted. And it's like, yeah. So I would go with no on that. That's kind of a little shitty script detail, but for the most part, this film actually sticks to the rules. It does, unfortunately, kill off likable characters or characters that are going to be killed off. This is a little bit spoilery, but I laughed because there are characters in the film. There are the main girl, whose name I've already forgotten, and her boyfriend Trevor, who is like, he's the one who got the hot tip to break into this safe and steal this puzzle. I love that she's totally okay with the fact that they broke in and stole just this puzzle. There's no money in there. There's no diamonds. He's like, oh my God, we got to break in. My friend says there's this warehouse and there's this, he like hypes up breaking in, and it's literally just this puzzle. It's like, this is a box. And she's just like, all right, I guess maybe this is an antique that's worth a lot. You could have at least put some cash in there to make it look like a legitimate robbery. But instead, it so feels like a trap. I would have been like, I feel like we're not supposed to take this. I feel like this is a test. Like, I feel like you work with the FBI, and if I grab this box, I'm going to be arrested. So I'm not going to do it. So yeah, they just grab this one thing, and they're like, yeah, that's it. That totally makes sense. That's all the information that I'll be given would lead me to this one thing that happens to be in a safe by itself, protected in this warehouse. So weird and so random. So there's him, and then there's the brother, and then there's the brother's partner, Colin. And those people all seem like logically in the film because they're all connected to her. My favorite part was when there's some stuff that happens, right? And our main girl, she's back at her brother's apartment, and suddenly there's this girl, Nora, that shows up, and she's standing there with Colin, and they're having a conversation. And she's acting like she's been in this film the whole time. She's not just like, hey guys, it's me. I'm Nora. I'm actually her best friend. Like, she's just sort of like, what do you mean? You don't know who I am? I'm Nora, guys. I've been here the whole time. The whole time I've been here, I'm Nora. And I'm like, this girl's gonna die. At no point did I have confidence that Nora would make it through the entire movie because of how they introduced her. She just suddenly appeared, and she had the least amount of connection to any character in the film. They were just like, we only have 4 people in this film. That's a really low amount. And we did say there are 6 stages to get up there. I feel like we're going to need somebody else in this film. What do we do? I don't know. We could just write some random bitch suddenly standing in the apartment. I guess. Cool. Let's do that. And then like Nora happened. she just shows up. She's just like, hey guys, what's going on? What's happening? What are we doing? I'm like, who are you? Where did you come from? How are you connected to this? Whose friend are you? Are you a sister? Are you related to somebody? No, I'm Nora. Okay. I remember her name, but not the lead. So take that as a spoiler to what happens to Nora if you want, but if there's ever been a character that has been more representational of cannon fodder in her life, it's Nora. I mean, she's just walking through the whole film. You're just like, when is Nora gonna die? Is this time for Nora? Like, is it Nora's time? I had no faith in that character at all, just because she's, just seemed destined. But yeah, this is cool and weird, and I don't know that I loved it because I don't love films like this. It's not scary in the way that there's jump scares. It's scary and unnerving in the way that you're like, oh my god, oh my god. I mean, like, there's nothing that jumps out at you. It's just that everything, when presented to you, is horrifying in and of itself. So, this is not full of jump scares. This is not one of those films. This is just a film that knows it doesn't need that. It needs, it needs creatures ripping skin off of your body. It needs to show you a character with no skin on its body altogether. And that's what it needs to show you. And, that is what this film is. So, do not worry about jump scares. They don't happen. Unless you just consider life a jump scare, in which case I can't help you. And Halloween is probably the worst time of the world for you. But this film works for those who want gore because of the excellent audio description. So that's what I'm going to say about that. However, if we're talking about grading, which I'm about to do, this film has a problem with the likability of characters. I can't really telegraph the whole, like, who makes it all the way to the end of the movie and was I happy with that type of thing based on who I've said is unlikable and likable. But it does factor sort of into my grading system of killing of likable characters or letting unlikable characters live too long. There aren't that many characters in the film either, which is kind of interesting. But yeah, so that is Hellraiser, a film I once again would not have watched if I was not blind, because the first time I saw one of those Xenobites, I would have been like, and we're turning the movie off. Cool. So, with that in mind, how do I grade a film that I know I would have turned off if I wasn't blind? That's tough. I'll just grade it as it is, what I think right now. So I'm going to give Hellraiser a B. Yeah. So, if you're looking for something gory to watch this Halloween, it's on Hulu. I don't know why it didn't go to theaters, but it's on Hulu. So, you can check it out there. The R rating is not a suggestion. Don't show this to your fucking kids. Just don't do it. I wish that was the rating on the film. Do not show this film to your fucking children. Like, don't do it. Yeah, this is intense. I would give it a 10 out of 10 on violence and gore on those Parents Guide websites. Anyway, that's it. I'm trying to get to 100 by the end of the year, so if you could throw me a subscribe, that would be great. My website is macthemovieguy.com, so you can check that out for more reviews. You can go to the audio description project, adp.acb.org. It'll let you know what has audio description and where you can watch it. And you can go to theadna.org and you can look up James Michael Redmond and see what else he has described. And he's one of my favorite narrators. So that's it. I gotta go review something else, but I will see you on the other side.